harvest these potatoes with some efficiency. Efficiency 2 specifically. That, of course, means that I'm able to harvest more rapidly. So as I run through these fields, the blocks will break faster. In this case, the blocks being, of course, potatoes. So potatoes will break faster. If the blocks were made of carrots, then the carrots will break faster. But they're not. So unless they are, at which point, you know, something to think about. I randomly jumped on the cactus on accident. That happens far too frequently. Okay. So yeah, I'm just harvesting all of these up. And then I think before I switch to wheat, I might switch to beetroot for a few cycles. Just so that I can have beetroot. It would give me a use for my various bowls. However, I should note that bowls of beetroot soup do not stack. So if you're planning on utilizing beetroots because you think it'll stack, think again. That's why no one uses beetroots, in case you wondered. Oops, didn't mean to put that in the composter. I shall need to manually clear out this composter. Let's see, how full is it? There it is. Okay, there we go. Got that composter all cleared up. Now, I'm able to plant down all of these potatoes. But yeah, the ability for me to perform a falsetto voice, which is the effeminate voice, the female voice, is not something that one would expect from someone who looks like I do, especially while I have that massive beard that I had. I did, of course, partially trim the beard in case I ended up needing to perform said falsetto voice. Because I wanted to make sure that my vocal cords were as unrestrained and relaxed as possible in order to offer me the maximum amount of control. As the primary trick in voice acting is, of course, controlling your voice, obviously. There are a few tricks that you can utilize in order to more accurately generate whatever voice you're trying to create long term. And that trick is mostly consisting of just tell your brain that you want to sound like fill in the blank. You know, whatever it is you want to sound like, tell your brain that you want to sound like that. So if you want to sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger, from back when he was the governor of California. Then you would, of course, tell your brain, I want to sound like a Slavic man who has a very bad American accent that is very deep and able to project their voice very clearly. And you will end up with something sounding very similar to Arnold Schwarzenegger, former governor of California. As for how well he performed as governor of California, I heard good things, I heard bad things. So, kind of a mixed result, I guess, based on how everyone reacted to how he handled being governor of California. But that being said, I'm fairly sure Schwarzenegger did all right. I mean, he would have loved to have run for president, but I don't think Schwarzenegger would have made a very good president. I probably would have voted for him, to be honest, but I don't think he would have made a very good president. He'd have probably made a decent president. It wouldn't have been too bad. But, he'd have been better than Trump, that's for sure. Comparing Schwarzenegger to Trump, Schwarzenegger would have done better. I know that's not setting the bar very high, comparing against Trump, but it is what it is. Trump did pass a lot of regulations. I understand that. Some people argue, oh, Trump passed all these regulations. Yeah, maybe you should do a bit of research into what those regulations actually affected. Because if you look into the various regulations that Trump had passed, you will find that a lot of the regulations benefited industries by relaxing environmental restrictions. So, for example, they didn't have to filter out as many poisons, they didn't have to filter out as many toxins, they didn't have to properly dispose, for example, of the acids that they used to dissolve the dirt when they were trying to clean off all of the gems and the ores and stuff. They don't have to properly dispose of them, or they don't have to properly filter their smokestacks, so they're releasing all of these pollutants into the air instead of just steam. Because some people, they'll see it and they'll go, oh, it's a smokestack, it's putting out all this smoke. Oh, must be unhealthy. It's like, no, it's going to put out something one way or another. Unless you're doing a full reclaim of all of the components of whatever you're doing, you're going to have some form of waste, some form of material that needs to be disposed of. Whether it be making batteries, whether it be smelting down iron and carbon into steel, you're going to have some form of waste, some form of slag, as it were. The slag in steel production, for example, is actually impurities in the metal. So if you have, for example, too much zinc in your steel, when you melt down the steel and reforge it into the proper steel, you're going to find that you have a lot of slag because you had a lot of zinc. And that zinc is going to end up coming out of the steel as slag. And then, of course, on top of that, you're also going to have all of this exhaust from all of the steel production. And you're going to end up with just a massive burden on your system, especially on your finances, because you have to dispose of all of this now. Ooh, Infinity Power 4, but Curse of Vanishing. So this is going to go on my other bow, my Infinity bow. Let's see what we got here. We've got... That's 7 levels. That's 7 levels. so either way it's 7 levels. And on top of that, perfect timing, because haha, you took out some of my potatoes. Yeah, there's that curse. Oh, you sneaky son of a... Stop dodging. Yeah, it works, I guess. And because I used the infinity bow, I did not use any of my arrows. I did, however, end up trampling my garden a little bit. So I need to repair the farm, but I managed to fend off the raiders with minimal damage to myself, minimal damage to my supplies, specifically. Put that away. I got to test out my brand new Flame 1, Infinity 1, Power 4 bow, which is a very good weapon, as was demonstrated. Deposit the leather, deposit the name tag. I shall deposit this bow over here right after I deal with this other guy, because I apparently didn't take out the entirety of the patrol. Did he even drop anything? Okay, let me make a way for myself and as well. Yeah, it does not look like he dropped anything. How about over here? Any other monsters I need to take care of? Nope. Well, in that case, away I go. Dirt black. Yeah, dirt. Put the dirt block back. Yeah. It's a tongue twister. I must be dehydrated. So this is a good time to mention to like the video, comment, subscribe, if you've not already done so already. This is technically, I do believe, episode 100. You might notice I have the Bad Omen effect. However, I don't have any particle effects on me. That is because if I load up my my graphics packs here, my global resources, the active resources are default. However, the resources for this world are making use of, this is loaded top to bottom. So it starts off with the fog remover, which does not seem to function. This was marked as mobile only. Apparently it's Windows 10 only. It's apparently most noticeable in the nether dimension. The no potion particles does seem to function. Thank you, Foxy No Tail, for that. The transparent pumpkin blur is for the jack-o'-lanterns helmets, which apparently has a terrible view range if you don't use it. So that's for when I end up going to the end dimension. The light levels are marked with blue, meaning if there is a spot where a light level is low enough for mobs to spawn, then it'll get marked out with a blue square, as demonstrated in the screenshot there, in the little icon. There is, of course, the texture pack update for the beta textures. However, I am not in the beta version. There's also the classic texture pack, and of course, the standard global resources, which are just the default graphics. Now with stylish new textures, they say. So that is my resource packs, in case you wondered. The resource packs that are not default were provided by Foxy No Tail on their website, foxynotail.com. If you are interested in utilizing these texture packs yourselves, or perhaps providing Foxy No Tail some form of feedback on the texture pack, that would be where to go. Foxy No Tail is, of course, one of the members of NexusCraft, I do believe. So they play alongside Mumbo Jumbo, perhaps a few other YouTubers that I can't really remember the name of offhand. I'm not really thinking too heavily about it. I'm just kind of organizing my inventory. Like, minor thanks to them. Some of their texture packs work, some of them don't. They didn't make it for this platform, so the fact that it works is good enough for me. I will plug in my phone, and this will likely kill the recording.